Two of the guys to keep an eye on tonight. The focus of the Auto Trader player comparison at the point, Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, of course, as we pointed out during the playoffs last year, unable to go. And Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, came on, did such a great job. But Irving back and ready to go tonight at home against Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers. And working the sidelines in that game, there you see your RGO, Roz Gold on Woody. What you got, Roz?
Well, I have an update on Gordon Hayward. He's got a minutes restriction of about 25 minutes a game, and that's just for the first 3 to 4 weeks. Coach just told us, not because of that ankle, more just to get him back used to the thumping and the bumping and the wear and tear of an 82-game NBA season. Now, so far, his conditioning is solid. Right now, what he needs more is the rhythm and the timing of the game. Also, the explosion off of that left ankle, he told me before the game, is just not quite there yet. But when you have an injury like that, it's not just the physical, it's the mental, it's the emotional. It's certainly given him a greater sense of urgency on the court, and off of the court, it's given him even more gratitude for his family with his wife, Robin, and his 2 daughters.
Every minute on the floor, you're trying to be relentless, because I know for a fact how quickly it can be taken away. And you don't know when your last minute is going to be up. And so I think for me, being a different player means not taking things for granted, playing every play extremely hard, just having a reignition of some passion. She definitely, especially early on when I didn't feel like doing much, she'd be like, let's go, it's time to move. You got to get up and walk every hour. Here's the medicine you got to take. Stop feeling down on yourself. That's over. We're moving past it, which was good to have somebody like that. At the same time, she was somebody that I could talk to and be a good distraction. And I'm blessed to have 2 little girls too, and so she'd be like, worry about them, focus on them. They need you. And there are times, I think, when you have an injury like this where you're really thinking about yourself more than anything. And so it was good to have her to kind of put that in perspective, like you're still their father, and they didn't really understand what was going on. So it was good that I could kind of turn the negative into a positive and be there for them.
In addition to the time spent with his family, Gordon also worked with a sports psychologist on steps to recovery. And some of those steps included mindfulness of the thoughts and feelings that he was having about what happened to him, in a judgment-free zone, that they were valid. Then acceptance, whether he liked it or not, this happened. And then another step, committing to a plan of action. Where do we go from here? Today, he told me the hardest aspect of all of this was the mental side. Guys.
All right, thank you very much, RGO. That's a very young Celtic team running behind her tonight. I was talking to Kevin McHale during the preseason, because we were in here doing a doubleheader, he and Isaiah Thomas and I, and we were talking about Boston and Danny Ainge saying, it's different when you're going into a season, when you're the favorites, can make things more difficult. Kevin McHale said, no, I like that. That's what I wanted. I wanted us to be the favorites going in. He liked that feeling compared to maybe being under the radar. What do you feel about that? If you're Boston right now and you go in as the favorite to win the East.
Yeah, it's different when you're the target or you're chasing the target. It definitely is a different feeling. I think I like chasing the target at times. For me, through the career, I just think that motivated the guys a little bit more that were around me, and even myself, I think. But I think the toughest part for Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens is going to be that 4-game losing streak, because he has 8 guys, honestly, that really deserve a lot of minutes. And in that 4 to 5 game possible losing streak, or you're not playing well, there will be a time where someone won't be playing. And can they keep the same mentality, knowing that they should be on the floor? That, to me, is going to be the most difficult thing, because they're young, and a lot of them haven't proven themselves. They haven't had the all-star status. They don't have the huge contracts yet, and they're making their mark in the NBA.
To me, they're a paper target, Ernie. The question is, now that LeBron's out of the East, who's going to take over the East? Boston comes up, Philly comes up. They're not really the target yet. Now, they had a great season last year. Can they come back and do the same thing? Can they play better? How are they going to, infiltrate Gordon Hayward? Can they do those things? Now, Kevin McHale says that that's the attitude you want because, a lot of teams, when they play you, they're going to be playing way above their heads. And if you want to get to that next level and win championships, you're going to have to be ready for that night in and night out. But to me, that's still a paper target. The East is still up for grabs as, who's the most dominant team in the East.
Well, let me just say this. First of all, Kevin McHale's full of crap. Listen, if I walked out with Bird and Parrish, I'd feel pretty good about my damn front running, too.
That's why he liked that.
I'm like, of course, if I had Bird and McHale, like, we're good, guys. There's 3 elite teams in the Eastern Conference, but they all got question marks. Like Boston.
Who are the 3?
Boston, Philly, and Toronto.
You don't put Milwaukee in there?
Not with those top 3 teams. Oof. Because, okay, can I explain why, though?
Okay.
Toronto was the #1 team. Right. They got better. Mm-hmm. Agreed. Okay, but.
Not that much better. Just a little bit. Cut it out.
No, if Kawhi's a better player than DeMar.
Yeah, but not by far.
Oh, no, okay. But if they were #1 last year, they still in the conversation. But my question would be, is Kawhi going to play or he's worried about going to the Lakers? Yeah. Second, the Sixers. It's all about Markelle Fultz, in my opinion. Ben's going to be great. Joel's going to be great. Sarge, Covington. I like Wilson Chandler. But if they don't get play out of Markelle Fultz, they're not going to win.
He's going to start for the first time in his career tonight. It's an interesting thing, Kenny, because Markelle Fultz will start the game. J.J. Redick will start the second half.
Well, that doesn't make sense to me. Honestly, it just doesn't make sense.
I've never seen that before in my life.
Ernie, I want to make one more point.
Because either you're a starter or you're a finisher.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could say this guy's a finisher for me or this guy's a starter. He gets my engine running. But this guy starts, and then he starts my engine, but he doesn't start it in the second half? Like, you want to start quarters consistently. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
2 things. #1, I think the Sixers are trying to give him confidence.
That's not confidence.
Yeah, that's not confidence. If you're going to start him, start him.
I would be mad.
If you're going to start him,
in the second half, I don't start.
No. But
because the game on the line.
But I guarantee if he plays well, that will change. I think the reason they're starting him is to build up his confidence.
But what if I get 14 points in the first half?
They're going to play him more.
But
I'm saying they're trying to build up his confidence. But let me say this one thing about the Celtics. I gave you my pet peeves on the first 2. Ernie, they got a lot of talent. And Shaq, they're the paper favorites. But, man, when you got guys who want to play, I'm looking at this, I'm saying, listen, Terry Rozier is the free agent. He's not going to be happy playing 12 minutes a night because he want to get paid next year by somebody. Then you got Tatum and Brown.
Jaylen Brown, yeah.
Listen, and let me tell you something. Those 2 kids are terrific. If you think that they're going to stand around and watch Gordon and Kyrie just play by themselves, you got another thing coming. So I think Brad Stevens has got the hardest, well, other than Luke in L.A. I think Brad Stevens got the second hardest job in the NBA.
Managing minutes.
Managing minutes. And Pat Riley has the phrase, voluntary cooperation. And that's what those players are going to need in Boston.
When we come back.